What's up, everyone? Juicy J from Dude Let's Chat, joined here by Brent. What's up, Brent?
What's going on?
And his friend, it was James, correct?
Yes, from
What's
the
up,
Critic
James? The
27.
the Critic 27. And today
Yep.
we're jumping into another installment of the platform preferences. Today's topic, PlayStation and Sony. So I brought, of course, Whip, he loves, PlayStation, Sony, their ecosystem, what they do. I say ecosystem, that's an Xbox thing, but what they do and what they provide. And from what he tells me, James is also a purveyor of the PlayStation. So I want to hear from them. What do they love about it? And maybe even what are some things that they think, yeah, but it could be better in these areas. So I actually want to kick it off with our new guy. Is that okay, Brent?
Oh, definitely. I
First
was
time
actually
on
gonna
my
suggest that he
channel.
goes
Yeah.
first anyway.
James, you down with that?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. James, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, honestly. I'm glad to be here. Uh,
No.
how you doing, Jeremiah?
Man, I cannot complain. It was a good day, a better night, and I'm here for it. I'm glad to have both of you here for this. I've been very excited for this, and I want to hear what y'all love about the system. What are the things that connect with you? So starting it off, have you been a PlayStation fan the whole time? Is that what you started on, or
So actually, no. My first console was the Wii. And then as I got a bit older, one of my uncles actually handed me down a PS3 that he was no longer using once the PS4 came out. So that's when I really started getting into PlayStation. But when I first got it, I wasn't really like I must have been 12 or 13 at the time. So my only exposure to games outside of the Mario series was stuff like Minecraft or stuff like that. So I was playing Minecraft. My dad eventually got me into Doom, the original Doom. I think there was a collection on the PlayStation
Nice.
Store.
not? That's not a bad
Yeah.
one to start on. Let me tell you. Like,
Yeah. I have fond memories of the original Doom. But after that, I think the next game I played was The Last of Us, and that's really what made me fall in love with PlayStation. And I think story based games as a whole really. I bought a PS4 specifically when The Last of Us 2 was coming out because I wanted to play that game so bad. After having played so many exclusives from the PS3.
okay.
Um, and now I have a PS5, and honestly, I mean, I've never bought an Xbox simply because um not much of their stuff has interested me as far as exclusives go.
That's fair. That's fair. So you started with the Wii. You started on more of a Nintendo base, but then you did move over to PlayStation and fell in love. And that's good. That's good. You've been playing it now, I guess, fully, part of Gen 7 into full Gen 8, Gen 9 now, I'm assuming as well, correct?
Yeah, that's about right.
Ah, good, good, good. So what is it that really gets you about, like, what are the things that you love about it? What are some positives to it for the peeps?
I always know on PlayStation, at least for the most part, the performance is going to be good. I've gotten comfortable knowing that games are going to run well. Um, and I mean, as a driven, a guy that plays narrative driven games for the most part, I like Sony's focus on that. Um, Most of the time, I do end up enjoying them. So that's really what I like about it.
Awesome, awesome. So you're the story-based games are really what gets you, and they do. They have amazing. We were saying it just before the start of the recording, or I was saying it, and I'm sure that both of y'all agree, is that like if you're looking for a good cinematic, like it makes you feel like you're playing a movie here, and an
Right.
immersive storyline. They have
And
some
that's
pretty
not a
good
bad
things.
thing. It's
No,
not a bad thing.
no, it is not a bad thing. That is definitely a pro. If it's not your cup of tea, sure, but that doesn't make
Right.
it a
I
bad
totally get that.
thing. Yeah, that just means it's not the game for you. But let
Right.
me tell you, it's a formula that's been working.
Right.
It's yeah. So
And
definitely the cinema-based games, I say cinema-based, but it's what I see them as. And again, I
yeah,
agree with you, Brent. No, it's not a bad thing. Guys, that I mean that it is very awesome in my opinion. So, uh,
as someone who enjoys that type of formula, I mean, I feel like I've found countless games on PlayStation that, you know, I've built up a trust with them in a sense, that I know if I'm coming to a PlayStation game, most of the time I'm going to get a good story.
trust as an Xbox player. We don't hear that word often. Just kidding to the Xbox fans. But it's true. No, I get that then. So there is a trust, and Brent, you and I have had the conversations about that, especially over after the last showcase. Like, but you can trust they're going to do well. You
Mhm.
can trust and it was a very good conversation that we can dive into later at some point. Because I do have a little bit of a perspective shift on that. I don't think we've discussed, but um,
Was it our Jim Ryan versus
the
Phil
Jim
Spencer
Ryan
conversation? Okay.
versus Phil
Yeah.
Spencer, where
That
it's
was a
like
good one.
it was a good one, but it's true. It's like
Yeah.
I'm being too harsh on that thing, because like you said, they're still trustworthy. You can trust that the game is going to be good. It's going to have a good
Mhm.
release. Um, and something that I had said earlier, and I will stand by with it, is like people can have their opinions of Forspoken, but the release of Forspoken was solid compared to other releases of this year. Whether
Mhm.
people enjoyed the gameplay or had differing opinions or negative opinions of how it ran and what it was capable of and how it looked, that's beside the point. As far as the release goes, you didn't have bugs and glitches. I didn't hear any of that. Everything I heard about it was issues with how it looked and the overall gameplay mechanics. Like, oh, there's not enough enemies. It's boring. It's what was it? Storyline. Like, I heard different things about the gameplay. Am I wrong in that?
Mhm. So here's the thing about Forspoken.
Hmm.
I did not find there was nothing game breaking. There's no
Hmm.
game breaking glitches that caused any problems.
That's insane.
There were no glitches that caused any problems. But um the best way to put as the game in of itself is a bizarre glitch. Like it's kind of, if that makes any sense. Um the thing is like you look at the game and you're like, this doesn't look right for a PlayStation 5 game. Um, so but um, yeah, I mean, like it it didn't crash. It never crashed on me, which is a big thing for me. It never crashed on me. Um, if it did, maybe once, and I can't remember. Maybe in my review I said it, but I don't recall. Hopefully, I'm not like backpedaling on something that I've already said.
Hey, we're not saying
So
it didn't. We're not saying it didn't for anybody.
um
I'm saying that I didn't
but
hear
like
anything
it
about it. So,
um the issue is that it looked like it was running in 720, which is like PlayStation 3 era shit. Um and it couldn't it did not maintain 60, and if too much stuff was happening on screen, it couldn't maintain 30.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that a common
Um
issue for PlayStation games, or is that specific to Forspoken?
I so and I don't know if James can attest to this, but I have never okay, so I played God of War Ragnarok at 60. I did
Mm,
not see any substantial dips. Um
I can
uh
attest to that. I didn't either.
nice.
um
Good, good, good.
let's see here. Horizon Forbidden West. It's possible that there were dips during like some of the big combat encounters in Forbidden West, but honestly, I can't remember. That was over a year ago.
Mm,
Um, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I don't remember any problems with that. So far, first party titles on PlayStation 5 have been pretty good as far as launching in a clean state. I played I do one thing. Oh man, one thing that I will say: Spider-Man Remastered at performance ray tracing is phenomenal. Like it is amazing on performance ray tracing. It's great. So if there's one game, if there's games that actually like are the best at performance and visuals, it would be Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales. Um
okay.
like as far as like really looking good at 60 and being able to maintain 60, those two games are good examples of that. But as far as God of War Ragnarok, I can't remember, and it sounds like James doesn't remember anything bad as far as like the glitches go, or not glitches, but like performance and things like that.
Okay. So obviously, positives of the game is when it comes to their first party titles, it runs soundly, great
Hmm.
releases upon releases, you know. And
Yep.
despite, like I said, my point with it was like, despite what issues people will have with the game itself, you know, releases seem to be the hot topic this year in
Hmm.
2023. And Forspoken at least released well, you know, even if people had disparaging opinions, you know. Um, but yeah, so it sounds like it's doing really well, and it's keeping 60 frames on its first party titles, at least to our knowledge, you know. And
Hmm.
I agree. I
Yeah.
haven't I haven't heard or seen anything. I've seen like an article trying to push that narrative once, but when I tried to look further into it, I found no like evidence. I didn't see people jumping at the comments saying, "Oh yeah, you know, this is happening." And so admittedly, like if I only see one, I don't take it
I
as like
think
I have to see
w-
more.
was that I think you sent me that article, and I think it was for a third party title.
That's right. I apologize. Yeah, no, that's right. You said no, we got to point out that's third party issues. But when it comes to
Hmm.
first party, they make sure it runs. So if but
Well,
it adds to the aesthetics of the game. Like PlayStation is about aesthetics. And so it's good that it runs that.
mhm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I do got to be clear,
Hmm.
especially in 2023, third party performance has been atrocious across
Yeah.
all consoles.
Oh yeah.
Um, I could not run Jedi Survivor at 60. I couldn't. It looked
Really? I
bad.
didn't know
It
that.
was
Yeah.
bad. It was bad.
Oof.
I had to bump it down to 30. It looked great at
I had to
30.
punch my PS5. Like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
you? Like,
um, but like no, I mean, and of course I had to put Forspoken at 30.
mhm.
Um, what else? I
I
mean,
will
but
say. Oh, sorry.
no, what I was gonna say is like Resident Evil 4 ran great though. Capcom has been nailing it. But that's all I was gonna say. But yeah, third party has been pretty atrocious. James.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor crashed, I think, 3 times for me on PS5. And I wasn't even
Wow.
running it at 60. I was running it at 30, and it still crashed. So yeah, the performance on that was pretty bad. I think that's the only third-party game I've played this year on PlayStation. Yeah, or well, Resident Evil 4 too, obviously, but that ran great.
Um,
I guess
yeah,
would that? Yeah, it would
I
be.
had Jedi Survivor crash on me once at 60 and crash on me once at 30.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty bad.
yeah. Great game though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Great game. Um, so yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So and that's a lot of positives. Is there anything that y'all feel like it may lack in itself as a system?
James, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, honestly, nothing comes to mind at this moment.
Mhm.
I guess you could say variety in like the games they push because a lot of it is that cinematic stuff.
Okay.
But um personally, I'm not looking for variety or any sort of deviation from that formula. So nothing jumps out at me at the moment, no. And I don't really play online, so I mean, you could, I don't know, knock that against me, but
No. It's your preferences, man. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm more of a
yeah,
casual nowadays. I used to be in the competitive scene, you know. But yeah, and that comes down to an old talk of how PlayStation back day was more of the interactive solo play games and Xbox was more of the multiplayer online, you
Mhm.
know. Not saying
right.
competitive because both had competitive scenes, you know. And
Yeah,
arguably, I'd say the PlayStation scene is a little more competitive than the Xbox scene, you know, when it comes to competition and actual competitions where you're trying to compete, maybe even win something, you know, or get
yeah,
a career going, in my opinion. I know Microsoft had its points in that
Mhm.
back in the day, especially with the MLG stuff and Gears 2 to Gears 3 and stuff, things that I followed and played, you know. But as far as what it was back in the day, that was what it was for Sony and for Xbox,
Mhm.
you know. In Gen 8, they did a comparison of Arkham Knight that was supposed to showcase the aesthetics of Xbox and PlayStation are similar, you know. At the same time, you also had to point out that the party system was no longer a stability of a party system was no longer exclusive to Microsoft, and Sony moved away from party systems within specific games to have their own party system. So now, though the things that used to distinguish the Sony or the PlayStation and the Xbox were pretty much non-existent. Now it's based off what you like and what you're playing. I would say that in
Right.
Gen 9 we're focused more on the games, which is why the positives of PlayStation is, yeah, I mean, based off consoles that have similar things that people would want, a stable party system, a great UI, and a system that has the capability of running 60 frames per second and running well. We need to
Hmm.
look at the games. If the PlayStation games aren't to your liking, like you said, one detriment could be that it's more one-sided. I get that, but if it is your preference, then that's not negative to you. But I respect the neutral point to that. It's like, yeah, I mean, if that's not your type of gaming, then PlayStation may not necessarily be for you if that's your focus and exclusivity. But they do have other
Right.
titles. Final Fantasy 16 is a PlayStation exclusive, correct? Timed at least?
It's timed,
Okay.
but okay, so
Not
it's
talking about
timed.
consoles, just based off systems. I should quote, like,
It,
you could
it's
play it on
it's
PC at
time.
one point, maybe.
It's time. Um, it will never go to Xbox.
No,
It is
no,
ti it
probably not.
is timed it is timed for PlayStation 5,
Mhm.
and in roughly 6 months to a year, it will land on PC.
Okay. And so,
Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's they're very right now, PlayStation is very much treating it as though it is a first party title. And
mhm,
one of the things that I really love about PC, and I mentioned this to you earlier, or not PC, PlayStation 5 is, and I mentioned this to you earlier, is that um people on Twitter seem to have a problem with their games not going day to date on PC. They're
mhm,
like, well, if it's eventually going to go to PC, why not do it day to date? Um, Day and date, or whatever the terminology is. Um, and 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 it's like they all think that it's a bad thing that it's not going to PC on the same day. It's like, well, hang on a second. Here we have here we have a year filled with horrible PC launches. And it's like it's optimization. It is
mhm,
it is like PlayStation optimizes for PlayStation 5 first. Yes, there are still a few things coming to PlayStation 4. First party titles should are no longer going to be on PlayStation 4.
mhm.
Um but there are still a few things trickling out on PlayStation 4, but it's mostly third party stuff. But anything that is with the primary focus of PlayStation, it's going to be optimized to the max for PlayStation 5 first. And I think that is a positive as opposed to a negative, because that means that we are getting a pristine launch,
Yes,
uh,
yes.
as opposed to some weird broken ass PC thing.
Yeah.
Um,
This
and
none of this is meant to push like, okay, well, it's just
n-
because PCs failed. No. It's pointing
no,
out that
no,
this is a positive. I see what you're
yeah, sorry,
saying.
I'm not trying to disparage
No,
PC.
no, no, no,
It's just
no.
this
I
year has been
just
had has this year has been there's a collage of apology letters that have that where PC performance is prominent on all of them.
Mhm. No, no,
Um,
yeah, I get that, and so they really focus down to make sure you get a good experience upon this console. That is nothing but a
mhm.
positive for things you're looking
Yeah,
for in a console, in a
and
system.
and I and I think anybody who's arguing against that is super disingenuous and
Mm.
are like trying to like console war when they say that.
And
And
that,
it's just
hey,
like
that's the point of this is to stop that
y-
console. We're like, guys, we're
yeah.
not here to. And we were saying that before the stream, I'm guessing,
Mhm.
because I don't think I said on, but like the other side of the console war isn't just, hey, we've got this, but it also seems to be this attack on the other sides. Like, we can't have this. Now we're upset. It's like, bro, that's just a part of their system,
Mhm.
and it's
Right.
going to be. And it makes total sense. PlayStation is about making a cohesive system, and not
Mhm.
just a system in terms of its hardware, but in terms of its community. And one of the things that you are guaranteed with PlayStation is a good running, good playing, good looking
Yeah.
game. And so, if they were, you had mentioned before, Brent. I don't know if we've done it on air or not, but I want to give that credit to you because I do respect and I agree with it. The fact is, these issues that happen across multiple platforms most likely also happen because it's having to go to so many different systems and
Mhm.
tailor
Yep.
itself to so many different systems. We've talked about the kits, what was like a month ago, how it took them
Yeah.
forever to get certain kits for the Xbox, was it?
So there have been cases to where the reason why some games are going to PlayStation first is because they just simply got their hands on a PlayStation dev kits first.
Mhm.
Um
Huh.
and it so um and that's no fault of PlayStation's. If PlayStation is like, hey, here's our dev kit, have fun. Like, you
Mhm.
can't fault PlayStation for that. You Yeah. So yeah, there's been cases of, and that's, and that's another thing, is like with Final Fantasy 16. It's like they got the, like, it's like they're using the dev kit and they're optimizing completely for the PlayStation 5.
That was the start because that conversation was about Final Fantasy 16, a great milestone of it going gold super
Mhm.
early comparatively to any other game. Really, I don't think
Mhm.
anything's ever gone gold earlier than that, has it?
Most games go gold a month out. Final
Mm.
Fantasy has been gold for 2 months.
2 months, yeah. So that's what I think it is the earliest game to go gold. I don't
Mhm.
know though. I think I had seen that somewhere. But I'm saying like it's nothing but positives if you have a system, a developer of the console you're wanting to play who also
Mhm.
wants to make sure you're getting an amazing experience.
Right.
So, but it ties into, I guess, a detriment to it and something we were discussing. I was like, you're going to pay when you play on a PlayStation. They believe in physical copies and awesome collector's editions, which are also great things that Sony provides. We were just
Mhm.
talking about the Spider-Man collector's
Oh
edition. So,
god.
yeah,
Oh,
that was just released. This is being done just after the start of the summer
oh my
games,
god.
and
I
bro,
don't wanna miss out on that. Oh my
bro, and it's
god.
and so it's that's great. But as a detriment, as a neutral detriment, you will be paying. There isn't any
Mhm.
shortcuts when it comes to Sony, even with
Mm-mm.
things they've tried to jump into to compete with other similar standings, such as the PlayStation Premium and Extra, like those things, they are a higher price tag than other things comparatively because they bring the quality.
Well
But as
well,
as a game, go
I
ahead.
have argued that PlayStation Premium is the exact same price as as PlayStation Premium is $10 a month,
Hmm.
um, for a year. Essentially, like, if you pay the annual price, it's $10 a month
Oh
for
yeah,
PlayStation Premium.
but for their
Um,
for their for their highest form, which would be the most comparative to the Xbox Ultimate, I believe it's double the price, isn't it?
PlayStation Premium, which is the highest form,
Oh, it's the
is
highest form.
$10 a
I
month. Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah.
So.
So, yeah, no, PlayStation Premium is the highest.
Mhm. So, okay. As for their games coming out, though, you wouldn't expect any of their titles, day one titles, to go on
No.
to a streaming service or anything. And like we were saying, like they try to push out exclusives at least it seems 2 to 3 a year. And
Mhm.
those things are
Yeah.
going to be full priced. You're going to be hard pressed to find them any cheaper earlier. Not to
That
say they
is
need to, but that is
Mhm.
part of the thing.
That is one thing that I think PlayStation could do better
Mhm.
with, is having, not necessarily their big AAA first party titles being day and date on PlayStation Premium, PlayStation
Mhm.
Plus, whatever. But, like, they should have more games like Stray, that launch on, there should be, like, um some smaller, double A, or even like some indie titles that could launch on
Mhm.
PlayStation Plus, and I think that that would be a real benefit to that service if they did that. Um, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Premium still get a good trickle in of games every month, but they could stand to have a few newer titles hit that service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But still. So it sounds like we got a lot of positives, a few negatives. What are y'all's final thoughts with it? Anything y'all want to say before we call it a night?
I mean, I think it really just comes down to the fact that if I'm getting a PlayStation game, I know I'm gonna get something quality.
Mhm.
Um, and usually, if there's issues with it, it's issues with the story and not the actual game. You know?
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm down with that. Brent?
Um, I just hope that like I continue to have faith in that console and in that, you know, in that
Yeah,
brand. Um I just hope that they don't waver um and that they keep bringing the heat.
there we go.
Hmm.
Guys, thank you
Get
so much for
Persona
being here.
back.
Yes! Bring it in! Bring it in! Like like it but, guys, thank y'all so much for being here.
Mhm.
Serious, and I
Yeah.
appreciate it. This was one I was very much anticipating. Obviously, I don't have as much knowledge as y'all do, when it
You
comes
will
to it.
soon.
I will soon, baby. Dude, I have no choice, guys. Final Fantasy
This
16
fool
is about to
today,
come
he
out. I'm
said I
gonna.
might have to come home with the PS5. Did
I,
you?
I did not. I did not. I was too busy saving the world, but saving someone's world. But either way, no, it's going to be happening because my thing is it's time. I like to have all the consoles I can. I've got every console but that. I've got PS3, PS4, and a PS2. It's weird. I have them all right here actually. PS2, PS3, PS4, and I just like the PlayStation series. That is actually what I
Mhm.
would have started with, is the PlayStation 1 and then the PlayStation 2 and then that for a while. And in fact, Gen 8, I got a PlayStation 4 for my wedding. That was a gift before I got an Xbox One, and it was fantastic. And it's still running. It's still a champ. I love that thing.
My
So,
I gave my day one PlayStation 4 to why I sold it to my buddy Andrew, and I still see him online using it. My day one PlayStation 4 is
I'm
still
saying, man.
running.
I'm
It's never
saying,
it's
man.
it's like it's
No,
it's
no,
like dang.
the PlayStation 2 I have is our original one that back in
Wow.
the day they were so easy to break apart and actually learn how to work on. And bro, and I've had friends help me out to keep that thing alive. Mind you, it's kind of that ship of Theseus thing, like
Mhm.
after you've replaced so many parts on the inside, is it the same, but
Right. Not to deviate from
no, no.
PlayStation, but my sister and I, we got a Nintendo 64 back in 1998, and it officially stopped running 2 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, it was a
Mm,
sad day.
mm.
Yeah,
Pulling
can't
out
find it.
for it.
It's like those are hard to find too.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They are. Yeah, we're deviant. Guys, thank you so much for anyone who's listening, who is watching. If you're doing it and you're not subscribed, why? Why, guys? We're here for you. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to. Hit the bell if you want to see when we're coming on for more of these videos and live streams of games and different talks and discussions. You can also catch us on our podcasting platforms, any of your favorites, really, at Dude Let's Chat, and any of our socials, Dude Let's Chat, for Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, of course, YouTube. Guys, where can we find y'all? Like, where can we find you, James? I need to know. I need to know.
Uh, I do have a YouTube channel. It's under the same name as my Instagram, the underscore critic underscore 27. I barely post on there, but I've got some ideas. I might start posting a little bit.
You should.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go and I'm gonna comment on every one of your videos now. Like it's gonna happen. I got nothing but time. I mean, so
Um, you can find me at Work in Progress SLO, Work in Progress Slow. Um, I'm on a bit of a hiatus right now. I've had a lot going on over the past couple of weeks, but when I get back from my vacation in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start bringing the heat again. So,
yeah.
YouTube at Work in Progress Slow. Um, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Guys, thank you again. Until this is this installment. Look forward to our next installment, which is going to be Switch after this one. So, and then of course a huge collab. I hope to have you there, James, for that one where I'm gonna try and get everyone in so we can just say, if you're looking for this, pick this, and we're all gonna be one happy family, Hopefully. I mean, you don't have to be happy. It's not a requirement to be happy, guys. But if you would for me, just be happy, be healthy, and stay beautiful.